A tēnā rā tātou e tī. Tēnā rā tātou I roto I tēnei atāhua I roto I tā tātou rohe Raukawa. Koe no ko tai mai nā paupau o te mea I roto I tā tātou takiwā. Ki roto I te irirangi, ki roto I ngā pāpāpotanga ka tukuna atu ki roto I ngō koutou tanga. Tuatahi me heke atu rā tātou ki roto I te taha wairua o ngai tātou te iwi o roto o Raukawa. He pono tau krori e te atua ki runga anō hoki a mātou katoa. Ka takatū mātou I roto I ngā huatanga kei mui a mātou. Tuatahi ko ngā kōrero I kōrero tia I e te atua koe e te tīmatanga koe anō hoki te whakamutu. Te tautaka mai ai āna manaakitanga I rungi te whare o pō te tau tōna whare ariki katoa pai Māori. Ka tuko rā e tātou, a tātou hia ki roto te kakau o tōna ringa e ki nei, e rukungia nei e ia I roto I te ao whānui. Haere koutou ki roto I ngō koutou mahi ātoa, I oti ai o koutou mahi, hoki mai ki au ngāku koutou, hei whakaoki hoki. Anei rā e te iwi whānui, e takatū nei tātou I roto I te ao, e whakatika nei I ngā tikanga o ngai Māori, e whakatū nei I ngā huatanga nā taha wairua kei roto I a tātou katoa. Anei rā tātou te kūpapa atu nei mua I te whare o te atua. E whakapono nei koe I kei mua kei muri a mātou katoa. Hei whakatau I a tātou I roto I ngā taumahatanga I roto I ngā māmatanga. I roto I ngā piki me ngā heke koe anō kei te tū ki mua I a mātou. Te atua kaharau koe tēnei rā a mātou I inua e tuke a koe. Koe hikraiti anō hoki tō mātou ariki. Āmine. Ai te iwi tēnei rā tātou I roto I tēnei wahang. Me tūmihi au ki ngā toko whā ko tatu mai e tūtū nei mō ngā pau hei mea mō tātou I roto I te whakaotinga o tērā o ngā tātou mea I roto I a tātou. Hoki mai rā kei konei nā patapatai e whakarongo mai nei koutou ki roto I tā tātou irirangi. Tuko mai e koutou o koutou taringa hei tāonga whakarongo hei tāonga tuku I a tātou. Ko tā rātou ki te ata nei te tainga mai. Hoi no te mea nui kei roto I a tātou kotoa. Haere atu ki te pōti I ngā mema e tūtū nei I roto I tā tātou rohi. O ti rā nā mea me ngā kaunihera, mema kaunihera kei roto I a tātou katoa. No reira e te iwi, ka tukuna atu ko tuwhera nei te whare I roto I tā tātou irirangi. Hei tūai nā patapatai kei roto I a tātou. I nā kia koutou, kia tātou katoa, tēnā koutou, a tēnā tātou katoa.
Kia ora tātou, he te iwi o Raukawa. Nau mā hairama ki tēnei rā I runga te kaupapa o tēnei aora. Welcome everybody to a special occasion. We have here 4 bright and energetic and highly enthusiastic people to engage with Raukawa FM on kaupapa pertaining to our district, the South Waikato. So thank you Papa Homai for your introduction, your karakia to open up our way for a great hour as we look to debate amongst these 4 people who are smiling at me. Whānau, if you are watching live, we are live streaming this, so if you can't listen to us on the radio, do jump on our Facebook site and you'll be able to see these 4 lovely people in front of me. So we as a Raukawa iwi radio station, we have a kaupapa to promote te reo Māori and tikanga Māori. And so today we're going to be throwing these issues at our 4 candidates for the mayoral position and see what they say about that. Over to you first, Alan, to introduce yourself.
E te whare e tūnei, tēnā koe, te papa e te koutou nei, tēnā koe, I nā iwi, e pai nei, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Ko te monga toltri, ko te awa, Waikato, Ngāti Pakeha taku iwi, ko te hapu South Waikato, ko te whare Turahonga Nui, Tokaroa. Ko Alan Blair tēnei. I came to this town in 1970, so 46 years ago, and I came from Whakamaru, and at Whakamaru I could see Mongatoltree, where my parents lived in Henderson Road, and where I live now I can also see Mongatoltree, the mountain of this rohi of the tangata whenua with mana whenua status, Raukawa. So I became parochial about the town, and after serving a term on council from 2010, I became parochial about the district. And I reflected on this yesterday and yesterday evening, and I think what made me become parochial was because of the people. And so I think of those around the Rohi, all the way from Atamiri to Petereri and out to the Mamakus, those who tangata whenua I know, and I've got just here on my right your esteemed broadcaster Roger, who's on the desk today. And yesterday I came in to just see what the setup was, and I came across Tammy. Now Tammy is a niece of Joe Urata, who is Dave's brother. Joe Urata was the first person who looked after me when I went to Kinleith, and it's gone a circle to come across Tammy here at Raukawa. So the mayoral role is to lead the team that has stewardship of the district assets, and what I want to see is a vision. I've got a vision that the district will be a choice for investors, residents and visitors, and our natural attractions are publicised so that tourists base themselves here and stay and spend. So what I want to see if I become mayor at the end of the first term is that the district is far more unified than what it is now, and the perception of Tokoroa, particularly from both within the district and from outside the district, is greatly enhanced. I believe I'm a man of the people, and I'll lead a council that is solution focused and, as I say, improve that perception. And what I will do is I'll get the hard things done. Tēnā koe.
Oh, tēnā koe, Alan, thank you for that. We'll move on to Tracy Dean.
Kia ora, Raukawa whānau, ko Tracy Dean tōku ingoa. Just to fit you into where I come into the family, I married into the Dean whānau in 2010. Tainui Te Waka is my husband's history. I'm afraid my reo is not good, but my rāranga and my and my weaving is quite good. Here's Tainui Waka. Here's Raukawa iwi, and his father is Lawrence Dean. His mother is Vicky Dean, who hails from Kawhia, Marae and Kawhia. My history is I'm a fifth generation New Zealander. Family came in 1850s to the South Island, but they settled in the King Country. I was born in Rotorua and grew up in a town called Fielding, which is in the Manawatu, and moved to West Auckland for my teen years, and then had time in England and back to Auckland. So the most interesting time I've had is in these past 6 years being married into whānau, Raukawa whānau. I learned a lot quite quickly because of how family is welcomed in the Māori tradition, and it taught me that I actually enjoy hui. I think the European way is a little too quick to discount all the opinions, and it makes decisions a little quickly. And I think there's a way of incorporating hearing all the voices, and so I'm adding a hui part to the process of council so that all voices can be heard. It won't hold anything up, but it will make sure that you are heard. And this is quite a critical point for all Māori, but also our youth, our elderly, anyone who wants to have a voice should have that voice. So I'm turning democracy around in this mayoralty and making sure that you are able to push our council and help with decision making there. I also spent some time with Vicky Dean's whānau when we searched for Uncle Trevor just a couple of years ago. That's when I spent a lot of time with Homai, actually, Papa Homai, and learned a lot about speaking with Wairua and the spiritual aspect of Māori, and I find that quite fascinating. I've been working in that area for 30 years, and that's very important to consider that aspect as well. So, kia ora.
Tēnā koe, Tracy. Now we'll move on to Jenny Shattuck, who's actually our current Deputy Mayor. Kia ora, Jenny.
Kia ora. Ina mana, ina reo, te iwi Raukawa, tēnā tātou katoa. Ko Tokoroa, taku kāinga, ko Jenny Shattuck, tōku inoa, ko Phil, tōku hoa rangatira, ko Aidan Rawa, ko Paul, tōku tamariki, e wha nā mokapuna, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. I'm standing for Mayor of the South Waikato. I'm local, and I'm born in Tokoroa, in Putaruru, and I grew up in Tokoroa. My parents built our family home in John Street in Tokoroa. I'm the second eldest of 6, and I grew up with long-standing families in Tokoroa, the Daniels, the Richards, the Simeonas, the Pukis, and the Turias. We played in the streets, and the Mahus. What I know is my family have had a wonderful upbringing here in Tokoroa, and I've been part of a lot of the changes since then. I went to school here, Mayoral Primary School, Tokoroa Intermediate and Tokoroa High School. I left school, I trained as a nurse, and I worked at Tokoroa Hospital. I also managed Tangs in Tokoroa for 8 years, and I managed Classic Hits Radio Forestland for 10 years, and we used to work in cooperation with Raukawa FM. I am your Deputy Mayor, and I want to be your Mayor because I believe I have the skills and I have the experience to lead change. Leadership and experience is vital, and I can offer both. The position of Mayor is an honour. I respect that, and I will serve the people of my district. There'll be some new faces around the council table after the election, and they'll need a leader who's experienced and can help them understand what local government's about and how it works. And I understand that already. We've got the lawnmower outside. I am committed to more jobs, more meaningful engagement with our communities, better control of where and how our rates are spent, and better value for money going forward. I have learnt under the guidance of Gordon Blake and Neil Sinclair, and I want to lead a team that understands its role of governance, that's focused on not just today but tomorrow as well. So if I'm elected as your Mayor, I will lead a council that works with the people and for the people.
Tēnā koe, Jenny. Our last candidate speaking this morning, Jared Gallagher.
Tēnā koe anaruti, tēnā koutou katoa. Ko whakarongo I tēnei wā, ngā mihi arau kia koutou katoa. Ko Jared Gallagher taka ingoa. Ko Ngāti Wai toku hapu. Ko te kapua toku hapu. Ko Waikato tainui toku hapu. Nō reira ngā mihi aroa ki tōku whānau, ngā mihi aroa ki te kingia, ki tuheitia. Ki tēnei iwi, ko tēnei te whenua tōku ngākau, ko heratanga a te whenua tōku kāinga tupu, where I grew up, but ko tēnei whenua, ko tēnei iwi, ngā mihi aroa mō tēnei wā ki te kōrero ki a koutou. Kia ora everyone, my name is Jared Gallagher, and I am standing for Mayor. My bones are from up north with an ancestor who landed into Kowhata, so I call that my home as well. I grew up in Hastings. I live now in Hamilton. I have whānau here in the Waikato, and I'm currently a trusted ratepayer and also an investor in the community. And so I'm still learning the ropes here, but actually I'm quite excited to be part of this mayoral campaign with my colleagues. Just want a quick shout out to my sisters and my nephews who are listening. I know you are. Yes, it's Uncle Jared. Tēnā koutou. Just a quick one also to our kai kororo, to our kaumatua, ngā mihi ara kia koe, mō tō karakia, mō tō mihi kia tātou katoa. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Kia ora tātou. E te whānau, we're going to go back to where we started and now talk about the questions. First question, we're going to direct at Alan, and then it's going to give each of the candidates an opportunity to respond to the question. Hopefully keep it to about a minute. Then that'll leave us around 4 minutes or so, whānau, to hear some lively debate amongst all four of them, having heard the responses from each. So, first question to you, Alan. What will you do to encourage more te reo Māori at the South Waikato District Council?
The South Waikato District Council at the moment pays more than, already pays quite good, takes good cognizance of te reo Māori, particularly during Māori Language Week, and I would like to see that expanded. So let's take our receptionist or the customer service people, whoever answers the phone. So rather than say good morning, or good afternoon or good evening, whatever it happened to be, greet the person formally, Tēnā. When they sign off, or when they say introduce themselves, they may say, call, if I was answering the phone, call Alan Blair. What's very important though is that people understand a couple of things about the formality of the language, so there need to be tuition, and also to ensure that there is correct pronunciation. Council has a Waiata group which is not very widely known, and I would certainly encourage participation in the Waiata group, and also picking up on what happens during Maori Language Week is on Council's Facebook page there is a phrase of the day in Te Reo, and what the meaning of it is. We'll continue that at least on a weekly basis and maybe on a daily basis, so that a lot of people look at Facebook, so it gets around the community.
Kia ora, Alan. Now we'll ask the same question of Tracy.
Kia ora. I'd be leading Māori language from the front. Actually, I lead all cultures. I have a world view of all cultures, and I think everybody should be fully expressed in their native space. But I think you may not be aware that there's quite an uprising of people wanting to understand Māori, and it includes in council. When I worked there were actually English people and all sorts of South Africans that wanted to learn the Māori language. So I think you'll find that there's a natural desire to learn it, and I think that's the best place for it to come from. So I think council just needs to ensure that it's accessible for them to learn, and of course there's so many free te reo lessons available. And I think encouraging them to take that up. The Waiata group is good, but we could, like I say, leading from the front is good. I had to learn a kapa haka bracket in a week, and I loved it, and I'm very happy to even stand with the Waiata group and encourage people to do that. I think it helps if your leader leads from the front and is willing to participate. I think that's probably the best way, and as I'm clearly not perfect at it, that leaves that vulnerability, allows others to feel a little bit more comfortable giving it a go without being too worried about how they look with it. So yeah, I'd lead that from the front.
Kia ora, Tracy. Jenny.
Thank you. Firstly, before I start, I just want to say that one of the highlights of my career on council was being invited to attend the signing of the Raukawa iwi Treaty Settlement with Mayor Neil Sinclair down in Wellington. That was something that you can't describe and understand until you actually become witness to what took place for Māori and Raukawa iwi. I did feel really, really privileged and honoured to be part of this celebration and to witness the acknowledgement of the government for the wrongdoing of Māori and Raukawa iwi. So I thank Raukawa iwi for allowing me to be part of this journey. I will continue to build on Council's strategy of inclusiveness. We are on a journey of increasing Māori language into everyday aspects of our council business. We do encourage Māori greetings at the front counter and on the phone, and we have our own council Waiata group, and that sings at every citizenship ceremony. And we do apply signage to most assets in our council building. Te Reo is the only accepted alternative language in our annual plan hearings, and I will certainly encourage that. And each individual department in council is encouraged to take part in Māori celebrations, and we've done it for Matariki and for Māori Language Week. And I know council as an organisation has actually won national prizes for our participation in Māori Language Week. Our libraries have picked up the prizes on a number of years, and as well as that, for the first this year we collaborated with Raukawa. No, it's 2 years now, with the Waitangi celebrations held here in Tokorua, and I will continue to encourage that. As a point too, Mayor Sinclair used to speak on Raukawa FM, and that did stop. But I saw the relationship between council and people through Raukawa FM as a voice, and I know how powerful this can be. So, because I have worked in radio, so if I'm successful, I would like to come back through this door to ensure that relationship continues face to face. Thank you,
Jenny. Jared, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, kia ora. Listen, it's exciting to hear that my colleagues are looking to lead from the front, and today with their mihi has been quite exciting. Actually, I'm really pleased, really warm to the heart that they will take that lead. I'm very, very grateful. You know, there's a couple of things for me. I think there's language is only one part of it. I think we've got to include the language along with other cultural aspects of te reo, of the tangata whenua, of the wairua. I think that's what's going to capture us, and I know myself, having come from raising my son over in China, learning Chinese, that coming back and trying to learn Māori in our home, you know, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and I think one of the things I want to address first of all is that let's take the reo into our home. Let's create an environment that we're never afraid to speak te reo, and my colleagues here, but I've been excited by what they've done on the radio today. I think it's fantastic that we can speak, and we're not embarrassed. Sometimes our reo was a bit half pie, if that's a word we still use today. So I'm really grateful, and I've been trying to mihi wherever I go, and it's been very, very respected. So yeah, I'm quite pleased, quietly to myself, on those things. So just to recap, for me, I really would like us to continue to try and push within the home. I want us to create an environment where te reo is one of the things, and so I'm really quite keen on a cultural service, a cultural hub, if you will, that can showcase te reo, the wairua of our tangata whenua, and what it means to be able to have that aroha that comes from when we speak to each other, when we can live a way where we feel comfortable to kōrero one to another.
Kia ora, Jared. Well, as always, we're way over time, but what I just want to throw back, and we're going to be flexible here with our questions, so we might drop some questions, because I want to touch on a point that Jenny raised. Yeah, in the past, me and Neil Sinclair used to come here and do a bit of a kōrero on Raukawa FM about what it was pertaining to the week or the district. We would certainly welcome that, to get that going again with whoever was the successful mayor, because it's part of our strategy to re-engage and get stronger with our community, the wider community. So what's your thought on that? We'll start with Jenny, since she raised it. What's your thoughts on that re-engagement coming back?
Absolutely, totally. Māori are about 30% of our population here in the South Waikato. I think it's important that we engage with everybody. So totally supportive of that.
Good. Tracy?
I'm sorry that ever dropped off. I think that it's absolutely critical that the mayor take the lead in those things, and should always be available to the public over whatever means, in any means. Engagement's been missing from our council with our public, and I think I'd be here with bells on. Definitely.
Kia ora, Tracy. Jared, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's a good start.
Yep.
I think it's a good start. What I would love to see is that it takes on a purpose, you know, that it's a regular, but it's a purpose. It's a meaningful one whereby people can contribute to what the kōrero was, and also it's an opportunity for the mayor of the time to really put across what the vision of the council, the vision of the area going forward. I think it should be something that should be quite aggressively done, in terms of that it's not just a piecemeal. I really feel that's quite vital. Maybe we should even go further and do more things which we could do. So yeah, totally behind it.
Kia ora. Alan, what's your thoughts?
Yes, I definitely agree, and I see it as being a collaboration, so it is helping to meet the aspirations of tangata whenua. So discussions with people at Raukawa, discussions with people at Raukawa FM, and be available to answer the questions of the listeners. So a collaboration with the station and with the people of the Rohi.
If I can just add to that, please. I know that, and I don't know the reason why it stopped, but I do know that council staff are still engaged with Raukawa FM. Richard Gaby was just here earlier this morning, because I heard him on the radio.
All right, kia ora, Jenny. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next question. This is one close to all of us here at the station's heart. Well, how have or will you support or encourage Māori to vote in these and future local body elections?
Okay.
Tracy.
I've been out on the street for the last probably month, and on my Facebook page and anywhere else I can do it, encouraging people to vote. I found that particularly Māori were not engaged. They all know we don't vote, and I said, look, I know they don't see there's any point. I completely understand them, because I can also see it's not just Māori. I know there's a lot of Pākehā who feel like their voice isn't heard, and there's a lot of despair, and I can see it's also turning into anger and frustration because they're just not getting anywhere at the moment. This is not just a South Waikato thing, it's a worldwide thing. So when I say to them that I want to turn things around and create spaces for you to speak and put your voice through, and I will be fighting for that, it's very important, then I've had them get on their bikes and go straight down to council yesterday, 2 of them, to put in a special vote, and they were not voting, they're not even on the roll, and I've had that pretty much all the way through the 4 weeks. So realise that your voice is important, and please use it, and it might not be perfect yet, the system, but this is really the only way you can do it at the moment, so just go for it. Please vote.
Kia ora, Tracy. Jenny, what's your thoughts on that?
I have always been a person to encourage others to speak up and have their say, no matter who you are. I continue to advocate for my John Street families and blue-collar workers. I've worked hard in my life, so I know what it takes to encourage Māori and non-Māori to vote for their future. I do believe there needs to be more face-to-face meetings held for Māori to educate and encourage on the importance to vote in future local body elections, and this I can say, if I am mayor, I will encourage. Inclusiveness is what I will work towards. Yeah, that's it. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Jenny. Jared, what do you think about that?
Yeah, thank you, colleagues. I'm really reminded of whakatauaki, of where it says tama tū, tama ora, tama noho, tama mate. And so the point for me from that is, listen, we've got to get up and do something, otherwise we can't progress. And if we don't get up and do something, we're going to go backwards in the other way. So I am absolutely dead keen on getting people up to get and vote. And I suppose if I can leak my strategy, one of my strategies today, just between us, is I'm really chasing that vote, because I believe that these people here beside me are great people who have already are familiar with some people in the community, and people that often vote may already know these people. And so for me to really make a challenge for this role of mayor, it's those people that are not voting. I really want them to get on vote, and if they don't vote for me, well, I'm just grateful that they're getting up. So finally for me from that is tama tū, tama ora, man. Yeah.
Kia ora, Jared. Great. I'll check that whakatauki out later.
Yeah.
Alan, what's your thoughts on that?
So the first thing is that I've consistently said to people, I hope you're a voter. I don't ask them who they're voting for, but I hope you're a voter, and if they say no, I'll, depending on the response I get or the way the response is, I'll say, well, why not, and they'll give some reasons. And so at the end of the day is that most people around the world, the majority of people around the world, have not got the ability or the opportunity to vote. And I feel that if we fail to vote, it's a kick in the teeth to them. And if you think of the strife that is happening, particularly in the Northern Hemisphere. Interestingly, in this year's budget, there's $5 million has been set aside to encourage people to vote. And that's Māori people to vote, and that's going to be done. A strategy is going to be done through Te Puna Kaukuri. So that'll be for next year's general election, but we need to pick up on that when it comes to next local body elections and use that strategy. There's 2 other things that I think that I would encourage, so long as that the correct protocols are in place, and that is that to be online voting. So everybody goes online these days, so online voting has been mooted. If it happens, that I'd like to see that. The other thing is that yesterday's council meeting, council approved the funding of a phone app, and so during the lead up to the local body election, is that every 2 days or whatever it's decided by operational people, that as we lead up to the election, make sure you're enrolled. And then the second thing is that it goes automatically to the phone. And then the second thing is during the voting period, ensure that you vote. There's plenty of opportunity.
Cool. Well, that's 2 things I didn't know. One, that TPK were going to run that strategy next year. It's a bit wish they could have started early. And 2, that the council just approved an app. So I think we know how a lot of our people have phones now, mobile phones and iPhones, so I guess that's a good strategy. What do you think is that a good strategy, Jenny?
I totally agree with that. The app is actually more than, it's about giving out information about general council businesses, but I see it really appropriate at the next elections of council just giving out notices on a regular basis. Have you enrolled? Have you voted?
Yep.
The time period. I certainly agree with that. Yes, I to be honest, I was a little bit concerned that it might not have gone through council yesterday, because there's some of us old buggers around the table, excuse my language, and there was a lot of debate about it. But recognising that we need to engage with all people in our community, we made a good decision for that to happen.
Cool. Tracy, what do you think about that?
I love that, and I like the idea of electronic voting as well. I think it's more secure as long as they can lock it up. But I'm also concerned because we have quite a significant amount of the population still who can't interact with a computer, don't know how, if they're scared of it. We will need to make sure that there's a safe way for those people to vote. I'm thinking particularly elderly, but also there's some people who simply haven't had access, and it's not an option for them. So we'll need to make sure that they're embraced as well. We want everybody to vote, so we need to make it easy for everyone. So.
Cool. Jared, any thoughts on that?
Oh, well done. It's quite exciting to get these apps out. Fantastic. What I'm excited about, it opens the door now. I want to say Viber, I want that Viber out there. When I hear that, I think we've made it into our maraes and we can take it there. So well done to the council. I think it's a start. They've really stood up there, and I really want that to be a start that we can open the door for other really innovative things to happen.
Kia ora. Well, can I just do a quick plug then to all of you four that fibre, yes, and connecting our marae is a kaupapa that we hear, and I'm sure our iwi would support. So any increase in access that we can provide to our communities, especially our marae, would be welcome.
I think that the opportunities there now, and that is through wireless. So there are companies out there. Marae generally aren't urban marae. They're not. They haven't got the opportunity for ultra fast broadband, and so the opportunity is there through wireless already. Andrew.
Cool. Thanks, Alan. Right. Next question. Next topic. We'll put this to Jenny first. It's been a hot one in the past. And I'd love to know what the thoughts are of our current four candidates. In the past, Māori seats on the South Waikato District Council has been an issue. What is your thoughts on this?
I do believe that there has been a misrepresentation of the South Waikato District Council on over the Māori seats. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to explain. We've had 2 representation reviews since I've been on council, and both times we have consulted with Raukawa, iwi, and all other affected parties, and we've asked for their guidance and advice on the matter. The first review, the then CEO of Raukawa Trust Board believed that there was representation of Māori on the South Waikato District Council. And then 3 years ago, we were again required by legislation to go out and look at representation, and we did. And again, we consulted with Raukawa iwi and affected parties. And again, we were told that the status quo was appropriate. A petition was set up. However, that petition was invalid because there were people that had voted twice on it, and also there was a block of names that had been copied out of a phone book in alphabetical order. So it was legally checked and it was discarded. We've always had elected councillor members who identify and acknowledge their Māori birthright. And currently we've got Tua Numanga and Thomas Lee on council, and previously I've worked with Dean Rea, Lynn Corbin and Pat Seymour. So Māori have already always been represented. If I'm elected as Mayor, I will conduct an open and honest consultation. Thanks.
Jenny. Jared, what's your thoughts on that?
First of all, I certainly would... I totally support the tangata whenua having a voice. I totally support them having the right to actually have a vote. So that my feeling on this is, while I really believe that consultation is key, I do believe that the tangata whenua need to have a vote for key issues that will affect them, and on the council is that. I just really believe that's something that needs to be discussed further and actioned. And now, one of the issues that come from that, of course, is this puts the pressure onto the Raukawa, because there's people, blinking Maoris, what you know, and that really cuts to the core. And but I want to say, hey, Raukawa here, tangata whenua, they have an interest, not just for their ancestors who created this and worked on this, but for the future. This is theirs. So I'm actually totally committed into trying to get that voice into action, which is a vote.
Kia ora, Jared. Ellen.
Yeah, thank you. I disagree with what Jenny says about Maori representation on the council, because those people that she mentioned were not elected to bring the Maori world view to council. They were elected as ward councillors, as it currently is. So I would go with what do tangata whenua with mana whenua status want. I've heard about the consultation, and I've also spoken to people at Raukawa. At the moment, they have not got a view, but I would go along with their view. Now, some people would say, why? Well, under the treaty says that tangata whenua have to have a say. Absolutely. Some may argue that they have got a voice. I would argue against it. Look at what happened at the Waikato, and then some will say, well, the sky's going to fall in. Now, look what's happened at the Waikato Regional Council. For the last 3 years, there have been 2 Maori wards. Tipa Mahuta is the deputy chair of the regional council. The sky hasn't fallen in, and I've spoken to regional councillors who had some doubts about Maori wards, and they've said that the perspective that Tipa and Timothy Bramley have brought to council has opened their eyes and made council more functional. What Pākehā need to remember is, in 3 generations' time, we are going to be in the minority. One of the things that I will say, though, if there are Maori wards, is just to remember that people of Tokoroa, if you're on the Maori roll, you do to a certain extent disenfranchise they may disenfranchise themselves, because at the moment they have the opportunity to vote for up to 6 people. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Helen. Tracy, your thoughts?
I think we need to, councils need to evolve. I think the whole democracy needs to evolve with how things, as we get used to the way the world's moving. So when the representation review comes up, I think Māori should submit on that, and I think they should be supported to do that. Personally, I think Māori way undersell themselves. I think this next generation of youth have a lot in common with the Māori worldview and their the way that they want the world to, certainly as far as sustainability and the environment, just for starters. And their hearts are huge. All nations, all nationalities, their hearts are huge. So I think we'll find that the next generation is very open. So when you have a councillor standing or a mayor standing, I think you'll find that even for central government, I think you'll find that you have a very good youth vote just supporting you. So I think stand in your own right. Put yourself forward. If you're Māori and you put yourself forward, your view in its entirety is how you're going to debate at the council chamber. So you're going to do it for all people, but you also have your personal view. So you can't help but debate. So I think stand. Your best thing is get stand, and I think you'll find that it's not just Māori who back you. I think you're going to find you've got very widespread support especially on certain issues. So yep, use your voice again.
Oh, kia ora, Tracy. And I guess just to summarise, thank you, Jenny, for setting the record straight there. I know myself, I've heard many things, and so to hear your comments this morning about that issue is good to know. And I guess for everyone out there, it's also good to know that whoever gets on here is going to continue with that consultation, and it is certainly an issue that's going to come up again in the future. It comes around every 5 years, I believe. 6 years. So when's the next time it's due, Jenny?
Not this next term. That's the year after the next term.
Okay, so the year after next. So whānau, you've got time out there to have your kōrero and get some action together on that. So we're getting close to the time. I want to get the last question because it is important. It is an issue that is of hotness, or is really topical at the moment, and that's to do with homelessness. So I'll just direct this at Jared first. Homelessness, Jared, is a current issue in our South Waikato district. What would you do as Mayor to address this issue?
Yeah, this is quite close to my heart. I have whānau who, for whatever reason, are homeless. And sometimes we can be down and we can think about, brought upon themselves, or we think that what more could we do? But certainly we have a responsibility. And whether that's a central government responsibility or whether that's local government responsibility, I think we have a responsibility to our whānau, we have a responsibility to our people in our community. So for me, I think we've got to highlight the issue within us. Now, there's no one answer, but for me, it's a key thing that we have whānau support, that we know people. If we just say that they are homeless people, we don't know them, we don't care, we must be seen to be doing something. Now, for me, obviously, I've got my own personal businesses, which I do, which are about building houses. I believe that we have the land here in Tokoroa to actually take some form of a lead for central government. And I need to be careful here because there are central government, but we need to do something. We just can't say that it's central government's role. No. We have got a district plan here that we've got to look and review. We can work with developers, that we will take a lead that no one else in the country will dare to, because we have space here and we have the opportunity to rejuvenate areas of our town that we'll need to work through a district plan. I certainly are putting my hand up and saying, as a developer, I know that we can make a difference in people's homes, providing those houses or providing those homes. And I believe the council has taken a stand already with pensioner apartments, but I think we can go more. Now, there's a lot of red tape to go through, all resource consent if the district plan's not there. But certainly my view is we must take a lead because we have the potential here to do those things.
Kia ora, Jared. Ellen.
I agree with Jared about the council taking a lead, and if I was elected, the first thing I'd ask is for a report from the social agencies of the extent of the problem in South Waikato. And then the next the next step is to advocate at central government. My view is that social housing, other than pensioner housing, is not a responsibility of this council. And the reason being is I believe it's unaffordable for this council. Remembering that 51% of the rate takers from the rural area, our farmers are suffering. They are suffering very heavily with the current dairy payout, with last year's dairy payout and this year's payout, losing money hand over fist. It's really, I think, asking too much for not only the farmers, but people in lower socioeconomic positions who have got jobs, who may not have jobs, to subsidise social housing. Very definitely a central government responsibility, very definitely a responsibility of local government to advocate to and insist to central government that they sort the problem out in this district and in other districts.
Kia ora, Ellen. Tracy?
I have a complete opposite view. I think the Mayor is in a very unique position where they can see an overview and they can call a meeting and they can collaborate. Sometimes these things don't need money. They just need people to work it through and make it happen. And the Mayor can call any of the agencies together and start solving the problem immediately. For example, I think wins with the benefits. It's obviously it seems to be that this has increased in the last or intensified hugely in the last three to 5 years. I think something altered in the benefits that has made this tip upside down. Now suddenly it might be more difficult to receive it, or it's taking long. It says something's gone wrong at central government. That's fine. I'm not a blame person. We've got people on the street that are hungry and have no roof over their head. There's some central government laws and local government laws that stop people being in certain buildings. Look, I've been all over the world. There are people in shanty towns. They're still wet, they're still dry, and drinking clean water and eating food. I mean, there's ways you can work the system to make sure people are not homeless, and I'd be rolling my sleeves up to do that. You don't let red tapes leave people on the street in the wet, cold and sick. That's It's inhumane, and in a first world country like ours, this shouldn't be happening.
Kia ora, Tracy. Jenny.
I'm going to bring this right back to the issue that we have here in the South Waikato. And homelessness is not only an issue here locally, it's an issue throughout New Zealand. The challenge that we're facing here, I think, in the South Waikato is that particularly lately, commercial operators are bringing homeless people, often with a lot of other issues, into Tukuroa to stay in their commercial premises, which is actually substandard. And the premises has been subject to ongoing and continued issues with council, and that's over building, sewage, wastewater issues and health issues. These operators, they receive payments from WINS and they're making good money, and they're exploiting these people to house them in substandard accommodation. So we know we've got to help, and a meeting actually has been called by council with MSD to make sure that anyone that the homeless aren't exploited and that they live in good conditions. Council has already been working with TCOS, and I'm a board member of TCOS and the Salvation Army and other social groups. And we've been looking at the old education houses in Tukuroa, because the ministry actually were looking to get rid of those houses, and some of them are ideal for that type of social housing, but at the moment that actually has gone quiet. So council brought the parties together, and that is our role, as facilitating and advocating. So we have actually already been working in that space. But I do want to make it clear that I don't support our rate money going to do up any commercial businesses where the operator's making big money, and they're actually renting non-compliant buildings to people from outside our town. So we need to look after our own people first, and I certainly agree we have a responsibility, and certainly I'll advocate for that. And yes, central government has to play their part as well. Thanks.
Cool. We're getting close to the time to wrap up, but I just want to capture the 4 key points I got from what we just heard. It's about development, or getting developers and development going. It's about central government taking a role here, and perhaps, dare I say, being led by our new mayor. It's about cutting the red tape, and I agree, we've got too much red tape. Let's make it South Waikato tape, the one we can cut. And it's about exploitation. Never knew that, Jenny. So I mean, the new mayor's got a task, because we certainly here at Raukawa FM will be following up this story, because it's hot, it's current, it affects all of our people in the community, and we certainly want to impact that to make a change. Look, whānau, it's about time to have our close up. I just want to give the candidates a time to have a quick closing before we have our karakia and wrap this up. Thank you all so much, Alan, Tracy, Jenny and Jared, for coming to share your thoughts on our beautiful station here. Ngā mihi atu ki a koutou.
Thank you very much, Andrew, and thank you for the opportunity from Raukawa FM to be here this morning. What I'll say, if I'm elected, I'll be available, I'll be open and consistent, I'll be bold when looking at issues, and I'll be unafraid to say no. I'll offer alternatives, and I'll get the hard things done. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Tracy here. Thank you for having us today. It's an honour and a pleasure. And yes, I'll be using all my years of business and economic experience, but I want to use it to move you forward. I'll be giving you your voice back, and please, if you're invited to a meeting where you get to say something, please come. I want you to use it. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to Raukawa FM for hosting us here this morning. I really appreciate that. And I just want to say that I will work hard. If I am mayor, I will work hard. You will get value for money. I love my community. I've been part of it for a very long time. I have the experience, I have the skills, and I have the passion to move our community forward. Thank you.
Kia ora everybody, grateful to be able to say a few comments. You know, I go back to the proverb of tama tū, tama ora. let's stand up, let's make a difference, let's control our own destiny. I want to create and rejuvenate our communities. We can do these things, man. We can really make a difference in our lives and lives of our whānau. So I think the final message from me is let's get up, let's make a difference in our lives and other people's lives. So ngā mihi aroa kia koutou katoa, ko whakarongo i tēnei wā, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Ai ki nei te kōrero te whakatauki o tātou katoa, ko pū te ruho ko hau te rangatahi, anei rā. A tātou rangatira, e rua nei nā tāne, e rua nā wahine, e tūkaha nei ki roto i tā tātou rohe o Raukawa. Hei mea mā tātou, mō ngā tau kei mua i a tātou. E tuku aroha atu ana, e tuku mihi ana kia rātou katoa. Mā te wā hei kōrero, nā huatanga ko pāmai, i runga i tēnā o rātou. Nō reira, tēnei rā, te mihi, te toa o koutou, kei te mea katoa, ko koe, te mātā mua, mō tātou roi. E mihi atu ana kia koutou katoa. Me hari pēnei te kōrero e te atua i piri taha mātou ki roto i te tatau o tō ringa. Hoki mai rā mātou ki roto i tēnei wāhanga, ko te tuki nei, nā patapatai, o mātou i roto i tēnei rōpū o mātou. Ko rātou hoki hei arahi i te iwi, hei whāngai i tā tātou rohe o Raukawa, mō ngā tau kei mua i a tātou. He titiro whānui atu ana kia rātou, kia tau nā manaakitanga, o tau whare ki runga i a rātou, hei tātou mo te iwi whānui i roto i te rohe o Raukawa. Te atua ka harawa kei te koropiko atu rā mātou ki roto i te tātou o tau whare, nāu, i tuku atu, nā mātou mate ki roto i tau hia. Anei rā koe e ki nei, kei roto te ao koutou katoa, mā koutou hei mātaki mai ki au, i roto i ngā aku tikanga, ka tohu e hau, o koutou hia, i roto i ngā tawhaitanga. E te atua kaharawa koe tēnei rā, a mātou inua e tika koe hukraiti ana hoki tō mātou ariki, i re hau, pai māri.